Hi there, welcome to my channel. This is Chris. I hope you're doing great. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how to take great architectural real estate photography, how you can have great shots with a very basic setup. So we're not going to go into flashes and expensive stuff. I'm going to keep it very simple. A tripod, a camera, and a lens. And that's pretty much it. Let's do it. First things first, let me tell you a little bit more about the lens you're gonna use. It has to be a wide angle lens. When I say it has to be, it doesn't have to be. But most of the time we use a wide angle lens. So I personally like to use a zoom lens, which does 10 to 24 mil. That's for Fuji, but for example, for Canon, there's I think a 10 to 18 mil. And that will give you a wider range of focal length that you can use to take your photos. So first setting here is the ISO. Set it to the lowest value that your camera can. It might be 100, might be 200, but you have to be really low. The reason for that is you want to keep a good quality overall. The second setting here is the aperture. So you take your lens and you close down the aperture to f9 or even f11. The purpose of this action is to have everything in focus in your image. The next step is to put the camera on a tripod. Set it to waist level, roughly. You don't want to go too high, you don't want to go too low, so that you keep a good perspective. One thing you need to make sure here is that your lens is parallel to the floor. Now that your camera is on the tripod, you can set it to bracketing, if your camera has that. If it doesn't, you'll have to do it manually. But what a bracketing is basically taking one photo and you take another one automatically that is underexposed and another one that is overexposed. The reason for that is that later on in post, you can take those three images, put them together and create what's called an HDR, high dynamic range image, which allows you to control better the highlights, the shadows, and everything in the middle. And now you're ready to change the last setting, the most important one, and that is the exposure time. How long your sensor is going to be exposed to the light. So you will change by turning that little wheel and you will make sure that the light meter shows 0, because when it shows 0, it means you're properly exposed and your photo is not going to be too dark or too overexposed. So now set a timer of 2 seconds or 5 or 10, whatever you want. So when you press on the shutter button, there will be no micro movements, no micro jitter, it will be stable, everything's going to be gone and your photo is going to be perfectly stable. Once you did that, we will now go onto Lightroom and see how to edit your photos in post. You can see I have 5 shots that I shot in bracketing mode. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all these 5 photos. You're gonna do a right click on them and you're gonna say photo merge and HDR. You can also press Ctrl H on the Mac keyboard. This is going to create an HDR preview. In terms of settings here, I keep auto align, which is going to align your shots so they're all perfectly matching and superposed one on top of the other. I'm not going to select auto settings, which I'm going to change myself after. And if you had your camera on a tripod, you can set it to none. Now you say merge there, and now we have our photo as number 6. So we're going to go to develop, and now we are going to select the option down here in transform of auto. You can see that it adjusts a little bit the photo so that my vertical lines are straight. And all you have to do at this point is play a little bit around with the exposure to make sure that your photo is exposed correctly. That is pretty much it. You can reduce a little bit the highlights, increase a bit the exposure, there, and then I would do a few tweaks here and there, but that could be for another video. There, I hope these tips helped you in your architectural photography. If so, write it down in the comment section below. And otherwise, I see you like always in my next video. Take care, keep smiling, keep shooting. Ciao.